World War II was unlike any conflict that came before it. From 1939 to 1945, the world was engulfed in a massive war. This war spread across the globe, impacting nearly every continent. Countries from all corners of the planet were drawn into the conflict. Millions of soldiers fought in this devastating war. But it wasn't just soldiers who were affected. Civilians too faced hardship and danger. The shadow of war touched the lives of ordinary people. World War II was a defining moment in human history, leaving an unforgettable mark on the world. The scale of the war was immense, with battles fought on land, at sea, and in the air. From the beaches of Normandy to the jungles of the Pacific, the fighting raged on. New technologies like radar and the atomic bomb emerged, forever changing the face of warfare. The war had a profound impact on the world, shaping the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. The war had a devastating impact on countless lives. Millions perished, both soldiers and civilians. Families were torn apart, cities reduced to rubble. The scars of this conflict would take generations to heal. But amidst the darkness, there were also stories of incredible courage, resilience, and the fight for freedom. The roots of World War II can be traced back to the aftermath of World War I. The Treaty of Versailles, signed in 1919, officially ended the First World War. However, it also created deep resentment and instability in Europe. Germany, blamed for the war, faced harsh penalties. They were forced to pay heavy reparations and cede territory. This fueled anger and economic hardship in Germany. The treaty also led to the rise of extremist ideologies. In Germany, Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party capitalized on the widespread discontent. Hitler's ideology was built on nationalism, militarism, and a desire for revenge. He promised to restore Germany to its former glory. The Nazi Party gained popularity, preying on people's fears and frustrations. Across Europe, other totalitarian regimes emerged. In Italy, Benito Mussolini and his fascist party seized power. Japan, driven by militaristic ambitions, expanded its empire aggressively. These regimes shared a disdain for democracy and a belief in their own supremacy. They posed a growing threat to peace and stability. The world watched with growing concern as tensions escalated in Europe. In 1939, the situation reached a boiling point. Germany, under Hitler's command, set its sights on Poland. On September 1, 1939, German forces invaded Poland. This act of aggression triggered a chain reaction. Britain and France, bound by treaties to defend Poland, declared war on Germany. World War II had begun. Germany's military, the Wehrmacht, was a formidable force. They employed a strategy known as Blitzkrieg, or lightning war. This involved rapid, coordinated attacks using tanks, aircraft, and infantry. German forces swept through Poland, overwhelming the Polish defenses. The speed and brutality of the invasion shocked the world. Within weeks, Poland was divided between Germany and the Soviet Union. The Soviet Union, led by Joseph Stalin, had signed a non-aggression pact with Germany. This pact, however, was a cynical ploy. Stalin had his own expansionist ambitions in Eastern Europe. The stage was set for a wider conflict. After the fall of Poland, all eyes turned to Western Europe. Germany, emboldened by its swift victory, set its sights on France. In the spring of 1940, German forces launched a surprise attack through the Ardennes forest. They bypassed the French defenses, driving deep into France. Paris fell to the Germans in June 1940. With France defeated, Great Britain stood alone against the Nazi war machine. Germany launched a massive air campaign against Britain, aiming to cripple the Royal Air Force and pave the way for an invasion. The Battle of Britain, as it became known, was a pivotal moment in the war. The RAF, though outnumbered, fought bravely against the German Luftwaffe. British pilots, flying iconic aircraft like the Spitfire and Hurricane, displayed incredible skill and courage. The Battle of Britain raged throughout the summer and fall of 1940. Despite heavy losses, the RAF ultimately prevailed, inflicting heavy casualties on the Luftwaffe. To Section 5, the Eastern Front, a colossal struggle. While the Battle of Britain raged in the skies above England, a new front opened in the east. In June 1941, Hitler broke his pact with Stalin and launched a massive invasion of the Soviet Union. Operation Barbarossa, as it was codenamed, was the largest military operation in history. millions of German soldiers poured across the Soviet border, aiming to crush the Soviet Union and seize its vast resources. The Soviet Union, caught off guard by the surprise attack, initially suffered heavy losses. German forces advanced deep into Soviet territory, capturing key cities and inflicting devastating casualties. However, the Soviets were determined to resist the Nazi invasion. They fought back with a ferocity that surprised the Germans. The Eastern Front became a colossal struggle, a war of attrition unlike anything seen before. The fighting was brutal and unforgiving, with millions of soldiers and civilians caught in the crossfire. The vast distances, harsh weather conditions, and fierce resistance of the Soviet people all took their toll on the German war machine. Section 6. Turning the Tide, D-Day and After. As the war on the Eastern Front raged, the Allies planned their return to Western Europe. On June 6, 1944, known as D-Day, Allied forces launched a massive amphibious assault on the beaches of Normandy, France. This marked the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe from Nazi control. The D-Day landings were a remarkable feat of military planning and execution. Thousands of ships and aircraft participated in the operation. Allied soldiers, facing fierce German resistance, fought bravely to secure a foothold on the beaches. Gradually they pushed inland, liberating towns and villages along the way. The liberation of France was a turning point in the war. Allied forces, bolstered by fresh troops and supplies, began to push back the Germans on all fronts. The tide of the war was turning. Section 7. A Day of Infamy, Pearl Harbor. While the war raged in Europe, events in the Pacific would soon draw the United States into the global conflict. Japan, ruled by a militaristic government with expansionist ambitions, sought to secure its dominance in Asia. On December 7, 1941, Japanese forces launched a surprise attack on the US naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii. The attack on Pearl Harbor was a devastating blow to the US Pacific Fleet. Battleships were sunk, aircraft destroyed, and thousands of American servicemen killed. The attack shocked the American people and galvanized public opinion in favor of war. On December 8, 1941, the United States declared war on Japan, officially entering World War II. The Pacific theater of World War II had begun. It would prove to be a brutal and costly conflict fought across vast distances, from the islands of the Pacific to the jungles of Southeast Asia. Section 8. The Pacific Inferno. The Pacific War was characterized by fierce fighting, often in unforgiving terrain. Island hopping became a key strategy for the Allies as they sought to advance towards the Japanese mainland. Battles like Iwo Jima and Okinawa were some of the bloodiest of the entire war. The war in the Pacific was also marked by technological advancements, including the use of aircraft carriers and long-range bombers. The development and eventual use of the atomic bomb would have a profound and lasting impact on the world. In August 1945, after much deliberation, the United States made the momentous decision to drop atomic bombs on the Japanese cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastation was immense, and Japan surrendered shortly thereafter, bringing an end to World War II. Section 9. A world-transformed legacy of the war. World War II was the deadliest conflict in human history, claiming the lives of an estimated 50 to 85 million people. The war left a profound legacy, shaping the geopolitical landscape for decades to come. It led to the emergence of the United States and the Soviet Union as superpowers, setting the stage for the Cold War. The horrors of the war also gave rise to a renewed commitment to international cooperation. The United Nations was established in 1945 with the goal of preventing future conflicts and promoting peace and security. The war also had a profound impact on technology, science, and medicine, leading to advancements that continue to shape the world today. The lessons learned from World War II continue to resonate today. The importance of diplomacy, the dangers of extremism, and the need to safeguard peace remain as relevant as ever. The war stands as a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and the importance of striving for a more peaceful and just world.